Welcome back. Today I have scoured the internet left and right to find 195 Apex Legends tips and tricks ranging from beginner to advanced. Even if you're one of the best players in the game, there is certainly something in this video that you don't know, so be sure to stick around until the end. The Rampage after being revved up can break through doors. Many people know this, but will still get thrown off when that door doesn't protect them while healing. Certain guns in the game can open doors. All snipers, the 30-30, the L-Star, and the Wingman. Instead of changing your sensitivity to focus more on your aim, change your reticle. Go into the firing range to practice skynades. They are incredibly useful and you can win fights if you land them perfectly. The trajectories of thermites, arc stars, and regular grenades are all different, so make sure you practice all three separately. Many people know that you can throw frag grenades under doors, but did you know that you can do it with all three different types of nades? You can use Gibby's arm shield to block grenades. This can be useful when trying to push a door someone is behind or not going into the wide open when there is a grenade behind your cover. Just be very careful because if you don't aim low enough, you could take a lot of damage. You can aim the Pathfinder ultimate and the Fuse ultimate. PC players, you can use a technique called jitter aiming to effectively remove vertical recoil by shaking your mouse left and right while shooting. This is a comparison of the two side by side. Don't worry console players, you can use recoil smoothing to do something similar, but by moving in one direction while shooting. Many people want to be like their favorite YouTubers and have a high sense, but in Apex where it is critical to be accurate, slower sense is much better. When healing with Octane, use Octane Stim and Bunny Hop to run as fast as you can. Always stim before a medkit or Phoenix kit finishes because you gain the health back immediately. Aiming in for a few shots before hip firing increases the accuracy of your hip fire. Using a gold magazine on your guns while playing Wraith is very useful because while you are in phase, the gun will still automatically reload. Using third person in firing range can help you understand what you will look like to other players while moving around. You can practice shield swapping in firing range by going to one of these boxes and picking up either a car or a flatline, since that is where armor is normally in a regular loot box. All legends run at the exact same speed. You will notice that Wraith got to the end first in this video. That brings me to my next point. Slide jumping makes you move much quicker, so if you are the teammate that's always falling behind, this is why. Thanks to Fifth Rum for this tip. If we want to jump to a location just on the path of the ship, the best time to jump is 390 meters. If the location is a fair distance away from the ship's direction, like 400 meters to the side, then the time to jump is around 600 meters. At a big distance away from the path ship, like 600 meters to the side, the time to jump is at 800 meters, and if you're going for a really far location, then the time to jump is around 1200 meters away. Throw thermites behind doors when you are getting chased so that you have time to heal and they can't break the door without taking damage. When setting Wraith's portal, the vertical height does not take away from portal distance. You see as I drop down that the number goes down very slowly as opposed to when I'm running. You should always be using Wraith portals to block doors so that enemies cannot push you. Always try to use shields as quickly as possible. Normally the first one healed wins. You can destroy portals by placing them on a closed supply bin. This works with Wraith and Ashe and makes for a really nice escape so that people can't follow. If you didn't know this already, finishers replenish shields when you complete them or when somebody disconnects from the lobby. Try to finish down players as quickly as possible for armor swaps. Try your best to make educated guesses on how many teams are left with how many people late game. We just killed 2 people when there were 11 people left in the game, meaning that there are 9 players left, or 3 full teams of 3. When you look in your inventory, you can see a lot about your teammates' setup, including the ammo types they're running, their armor, and their survival item. Wait for people to get onto ziplines for a very easy kill. Guns will always spawn on the left side of loot boxes. Get really good with playing around doors. You can normally kick it once to stop a heal. You can tap strafe backwards to bait the door to open. When the door is swinging out your way, always back up and get an easy shot, and then you can close the door again right away. In order to practice 1v3s, try dropping solo in duos or trios. This will help when you are the last one alive on your team and need to clutch for them. The goal is to fight every enemy player one by one. As you can see in this clip, the first Lobai was able to fight when she pushed me all on her own. The second guy I was able to kill because he started breaking my door and I caught him off guard. And now it's just a final 1v1 between me and a Horizon. This clip brings me to my next point. When you know somebody is going to be at a door, try to throw a grenade directly upwards to catch them off guard and maybe deal up to 100 damage. In this case it didn't do very much damage, but it definitely caught him off guard a little bit. Get fucked, you're all garbage. If a teammate accidentally disconnects or goes AFK, you can always punch them to safety. When you are trying to hide, don't move whatsoever, even when the enemy comes into your field of vision. So many people have walked right by me as I was hiding in a corner, even to look at me to not notice I was there. Of course it doesn't work every time, but that leads me into my next point. Never be afraid to use your ult. A lot of people will run around the entire game with their ult ready to be used just to wait for the perfect moment to use it. If an ult can give you an even slight advantage, it might win you the game. Always try to stay on high ground. Not only do you get more cover this way, but it is a lot easier to see enemies that are far away. Always play around cover in order to maximize damage output and minimize damage input. Try to pre-heal when you know you're about to take a lot of damage so that you can get back into the fight even quicker. Always remember survival over kills. Kills do not win you the game. Instead of jumping to dismount off of a zipline and getting sent upwards, you could use crouch in order to jump downwards. Use abilities to move down teammates to safety. Horizon's Q and Octane's jump pad are two very useful ones. Use pay-to-win skins for better iron sights. Try to learn as many different movement techniques as possible. There's mantle jumping, super gliding, tap strafing, super jumping, fatigue jumping, wall jumping, and pedo strafing. I'll also let you know that you can super glide off of almost anything. When in a gunfight, aim for the head with semi-automatic weapons and aim for the chest with automatic weapons. In order to gain accuracy, look at the enemy close range and your crosshair long range. Too many people get tunnel visioned by their crosshair close range and it loses them a lot of gunfights. You can find anything in the black market. You do this by pinging something inside of the black market and then holding the ping on the outside. The white line will guide you exactly to where it is. Attach zip lines to a jump tower for very quick rotations or when you're running away. You can use one-way zip lines to set up an attack on the enemy without them being able to push you back. Rather than jumping onto a jump pad and tap strafing 180 degrees backwards, it's better to go a little bit past and tap strafe back. You get a lot more distance this way. Make sure you let the jump pad do the full animation or else you're gonna slide right through it. It's much better to throw it too far than too close. The Mozambique and the EVA 8 are both actually fully automatic. If your teammate needs an item on the ground, there will be a little hand beside the ping. Use tridents on jump pads for easy kills and quick rotations. This guy didn't expect me to be there at all.
Holy shit, dude, you would fucking fly.
Interact with Marvin when the blue smile is on his chest for easy purple loot. Wraith cannot take a zipline when starting her tactical, and if you start a zipline early while trying to ult, it'll cancel it as well. You can also cancel Wraith's tactical by jumping onto the wall like I just did. Use the abilities of different characters in order to block doors so that people can't get in or out. You can do this with Horizon like you just saw, you could do this with Caustic with his gas traps, Rampart with her shields, Catalyst with her reinforcement, and Watson with her nodes. You can do it with the Newcastle ult as well, but be careful because sometimes they're able to run through that gap. Reviving in Givi's ultimate is the fastest way to revive. even quicker than Lifeline's 20% speed boost. Mantle last second with Valkyrie in order to get rid of that last animation so that you can shoot your gun quicker. Trigger discipline is very important in every game, especially Apex. My teammate was very smart in waiting for the kill. When you are done using your ultimate with Rampart, there's two things you can do. You can either put the gun away, or you could refund it and then let your ult fill up again. If you go slightly outside of the door and close it on yourself, you can control how open the door is by moving forwards and backwards. This leads to some dirty angles. When you are getting chased by an enemy trying to punch you, hold control and you could slide away really quick. When fighting an enemy in the open, short bursts of fire are much better than long ones. This works because they will continue to spray the corner you're at, while you will peek back and have full ammo while they have none. This is a very basic tip, but make sure you turn off taking damage closes death boxes. This makes armor swapping a lot easier and smoother. If you arc star a Gibby bubble, 10 seconds after the Gibby bubble is placed, the arc star will fall directly into the Gibby bubble and do a lot of damage to anybody hiding inside. When you get ulted by a Horizon, just destroy the ult as quick as you can. It only takes 175 damage and you'll be able to run away from all the nades. Something good to know about the Horizon ult is it breaks right through doors. If there is an enemy healing behind the door, this is an easy way to get a knock. If you place the Wraith portal with 95% Rift energy or more remaining, the portal will cancel and you will have your ult back so that you could use it again. This is good to know if you accidentally hit your ult. Using a stim on a jump pad doesn't actually make you go any farther than you would have otherwise gone. That's why you should always save the stim for after you land. You reload much quicker when there is ammo still in the gun. You can throw legend abilities on top of jump pads. With the new addition of Octane, you could throw a jump pad onto a jump pad you just placed for a really long rotation. Always set your FOV to the maximum so that you can see as much as possible around you. When you're getting rid of things in your inventory, go bottom right to top left. This will allow you to get rid of stuff as quick as possible. Try your best to not use bright skins like this Wattson skin here. Like this Octane skin is much harder to see. This could save you from dying many times. A really good strategy to use is on purposely taking damage in a heal offering, so that you could start popping a medkit early. This is what single-handedly won this game for us. Use aim trainers to sharpen your skills. Some can be bought on Steam. When you notice there's somebody much better than you playing on your team when you're solo queuing, try your best to learn from them. You should also watch pro players as often as you can. Try to use the same strategies they do. Use a program like Metal in order to watch gameplay back and save clips. This is very useful for reflecting on where you're going wrong. You don't always have to be watching your own gameplay to see. Make a document and every time you die, say exactly why you died. This will help you learn your weaknesses and you will be a better player much quicker. There are such things as impossible rings. These are areas on each map where the ring is completely forbidden to end. I will place all the interactive maps in a link in the description if you want to look at all the impossible zones. Try to use the same sensitivity in every game. There are many sensitivity converters from like Apex to CS2 for example that you can use so that your muscle memory doesn't deteriorate. If you are toxic to your teammates, the chances you lose skyrockets. How often do you really win when you're angry or have angry teammates? Not very often. If you ever find a teammate that you have really good chemistry with, invite them. Play with them for the rest of the day because it's much better than any toxic teammate that you can get. What is even better is playing with friends who already have good communication. If you constantly blame your teammates for every time you die, you are not going to improve at the game whatsoever. We learn by making mistakes, and if you put everything off as a mistake of someone else, you will always stay the same. Use the buttons on the side of your mouse. I personally use them for my tactical and ultimate. These are the fastest time to kill guns of every type. For shotguns, it's the Mastiff. For SMGs, it's the Prowler. For rifles, it's the Flatline or the charged up Havoc. For pistols, technically the RE45, but the Wingman is better. For LMGs, it's obviously the L-Star. And for marksman is the Scout. There are 7 different ways to get Evo points. You get Evo points by wiping a squad, reviving down teammates, respawning teammates, class interactions like scanning care packages, world interactions like wildlife or trials, Evo harvesters, and finally Evo boosts. Always keep an eye on your teammates, you never want to get too far. Keep an eye on rings, that'll keep you locked out of zone. That's all for part 1 of this video. Make sure to check out part 2, which I have already uploaded. Thank you all for watching. If you learned a tip from this video that you didn't know before, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Have a good one.